In this video, you're going to learn how to start a new Drupal 8 project from scratch in less than 10 minutes using a utility called Tokaido. Tokaido is an automation platform for local Drupal development. It runs an open source production-grade hosting environment directly on your Mac or Linux machine using Docker. As you can see on this slide, there's a collection of Docker containers that are configured in each Tokaido environment. At the top, you have the containers that are essential to hosting Drupal, like HAProxy, PHP, and MySQL. You also have a collection of containers that provide operations such as SSH access, log collection, and a collection of add-on containers that you can turn on and turn off, like Mailhog, Adminer, and Solar. All of these containers make up a Tokaido environment, and of course you can have many Tokaido environments running in your system at one time. All of these are controlled via a single CLI called Tok. With Tok, you can run common everyday Drupal tasks like installing a site, starting a new project, starting or destroying an environment, seeing a list of environments, creating snapshots, and much, much more. And in the video today, as I mentioned, we're going to take a look at one of the most important commands, tok new. Before we dive into that, I just want to point out the install instructions on the Tokaido documentation website. I'll put a link to these instructions, but the install process is pretty simple. All you need is Docker for Mac, which you've probably already got, and Homebrew, which you've probably already got. What you probably don't have, but should get, is Tokaido itself, which you can see here which you can get here by running brew tap io tap and brew install Tokaido. So all we need to do to get started is simply run that tok new command. The first thing it's going to ask me is for a name of my project. I'll just call it my Drupal project. And then it'll ask me to choose from one of a collection of pre-built packages. I'm going to choose Drupal 8 Standard, but there's a whole variety here that I could choose from. Now Tokaido is going to download that package, uncompress it, and install it for me. But the first thing I'll be asked for is whether or not I want to submit anonymous usage data back to the Tokaido developers. This information really helps us. You opt out by default. You can read our privacy policy, and you can follow this link here to read a little bit more about what data we collect and why. It is entirely anonymous, and it does help us a great deal, so I'm going to say yes in my particular instance. The next thing Tokaido is going to do is download the Docker containers that will be run for this environment, or update them. I've already got them all, so there's not much to do here, but the first time you run Tokaido, this initial download might take a little while. Then it'll start my Drupal environment, including provisioning things like database connection settings, and set up an SSL certificate that I can use to access the environments using a trusted SSL. All right, now this part is the Drush site install. This takes about 2 or 3 minutes, so I'm going to fast forward the video here until that's finished. Okay. The site install process is finished. You can see here my environment's up and running. I can SSH into it. I can open it in a browser. I can run commands against it, and I can check the status. The first thing I have to do is move into the project directory, and I'll run tok status. All my containers are running, SSH is configured, and Drupal is ready on HTTPS. So I can very simply just run tok open, and that's going to open the site in my browser. Wonderful. Now, if I want to log in as an admin user, there's a simple little command or a flag that I can pass to tok open. It's going to go ahead and generate a one-time login link using Drush, and I'll be able to use that to log into the Drupal site as an admin user. There we go. All right, so I'm logged in as an admin. And what about some of the other stuff that I can do? I can have a look at the environment status by running tok ps. I can see all of the major components that are running. You'll see I've got Mailhog here, MySQL, and where relevant, I've got information on my local endpoints and my shortcuts to access these environments as well. So for example, I can run tok open Mailhog, and Mailhog will collect all of the email that my Drupal site sends by default. I don't want notifications, and you can see that there. So if I go back into this page, I will log out and log in. I'll reset my password, and try and get a password reset email. My username is admin, submit. And hopefully Malhog should receive that email. Replacement login information for admin at Drush site and store. Cool. What else can I do? I can run toc help and I can see a list of commands. Probably the most important one I can do at this point is SSH into my environment. So my Drupal project.toc. That's going to log in. It's going to check what version of Composer, PHP, Drush, and if my database connection is online. So everything looks okay. Drush 962, Composer 185, PHP 7.2, and my database is up and running. I can run Drush status from in here. This SSH container is a fully functional development environment. It has Gulp, NPM, Yarn, Composer, a bunch of other common tools. And I can do pretty much anything I want or that I would do on my local system from in here. So there you go. That's a high-level overview of what you can do with Tokaido and the toc new command. Thanks for watching.